Okay, today I'm going to harp on community. Getting back to pillar one. One of the biggest things about community is that you have to, in a sense, be a community of one as well. So that first and foremost is that when you say a community of one, it has to deal with yourself and everything. So with the way the pillars are set up, it's designed to be able to create the ability to be able to be a community of one. So for it sets yourself up for that, so that way you can, in a sense, treat yourself as best you can. So that way you can start treating others as well. For instance, with the how the other pillars are set up, like with nutrition, like the you are what you eat, in a sense. So if you want to sit there and stuff your face with ding dongs and everything, you're basically treating yourself like a ding dong, and you are a ding dong. And so you want to, yeah, make sure like you're doing like a healthy eating, like the other videos I've done on nutrition and everything, so give you ideas on how to go about that and everything. So, and of course, pillar three training is basically how you treat your physical body. So if you're basically sitting in a chair all day and being like a couch potato type of deal, that's probably like one of the biggest no-nos that you can do. Now, if of course if you have an office job that requires you to sit, then there's really not much way around it. So what you want to have to do is get force yourself up, and get movement in as much as you can. If you have to sit there and for like every hour, literally get up and walk around for 10 minutes, or maybe do some stretching and stuff for 10 minutes, then that's what you have to do. And for recovery, you want to make sure you're getting like your proper sleep and your proper nutrition, because if you're not getting like a proper sleep, chances are you're going to be much more irritable and have a much more likely to have like a screw you attitude towards people, and which is going to come back and have like a negative effect on you, because more likely people are going to have a screw you attitude towards you if you have that towards them. And so far like mobility, well, if you're not taking care of yourself as a community of one, you're not going to have much mobility, especially later in life. Everyone knows the typical hunched together little grandma with the cane, and they're walking around all stiff and it's like, do you really want it to do that, be that way when you're in your 70s and 80s? Or do you want to be able to still function well into your 80s and maybe even into your 90s? And yeah, which moves into mindfulness, like with this pillar six, because being a community of one, you also have to take care of like your mental health as well, building off last week's. So it's all interconnected. So with being a community of one, you have to look at yourself and take care of yourself and everything. So a lot of times people will have that attitude like, oh well, you're just being selfish and everything. It's like taking care of yourself isn't selfish. So the big thing like that I like to say, like when it comes to community of one, of yourself, taking care of yourself, you wouldn't sit there and go up to someone and be like, fuck you, you're a worthless piece of shit. Yet by not doing that, go up to the mirror and say that and be like, hey, you in the mirror, fuck you, you're a worthless piece of shit. That's what you're doing by not taking care of yourself and becoming a community of one. So the concept of community of one is that you have to, in a sense, take care of yourself. And yeah, it's when you're on airplanes, for instance, you put on your in the case of emergency, you put on your air mask first before you're helping others. That's kind of an analogy that you don't want to be, in a sense, you don't want to be selfish and everything. You're taking care of yourself first before you can help others. So it's the same kind of concept. Whenever you feel like rationalizing or justifying your shitty ass behaviors and sit there and not take care of yourself, just remember what I said. Go up to the mirror and be like, give yourself the finger and tell you this, screw yourself, because that's basically what you're doing, is by not taking care of yourself, is that's what you're doing. So, and then outwards, by having that attitude towards yourself, you're pretty much having that attitude towards other people. So it's kind of like a reflection of how you are going to be able to treat other people. Now, obviously, like in most and like pretty much all interactions, you're going to have that basic dignity towards each other and everything, unless you're a complete and utter asshole and like a psychopath and just treat everyone like shit, regardless. But you want to look at yourself in the mirror and look at yourself like and your behaviors and your daily and weekly and monthly habits and everything. So like for instance, like every time you eat an ice cream bar, or you're like, oh hey, look, it's just a pint of Ben and Jerry's. Like, it's been a long work week, I deserve it. It's like, well, do you? Because you really haven't done anything to really take care of yourself all week. You've been just kind of like sluggish and like not taking care of yourself all week, and just kind of like neglecting yourself pretty much all week by not going to the gym to take care of yourself physically, doing your training. You're not eating healthily because you're just like, oh well, I'll just like this phone right here, I'll just like sit there, tap on DoorDash and everything. So like so you're kind of like at the end of the week like, oh man, I deserve this ice cream, man. It's been such a long week and it's been so stressful. Like has it been stressful, or is it like by you not taking care of yourself, has that led to more added stress, because like you're compounding like the negative effects of like the food and like the soda and like all the crap that you're eating and drinking. And so in a sense you're treating yourself like a garbage can all week, and so you're trying to justify another shitty behavior by getting like a pint of ice cream, like, oh, it's Ben Jerry's, I deserve this and everything. If you've been like working your ass off, say for like a whole month or whatever, like you've been busting your balls at the gym, and like you've been grinding like for like a whole month, like you knocked out every single workout, you like your nutrition's been on point, your sleep's been great, and like you're getting in like your journaling for your mindfulness, you're getting in meditation, like you're doing everything you can, and after a month you look back like, okay, maybe I can take a little break. Maybe I can get not necessarily a pint of ice cream. Maybe I can get like an ice cream cone. Yeah, but of course, like for me, I'm more of like, I don't need that shit. I don't want it. I don't necessarily want anything to do with it. So like the longer, which leads to the sense of the longer that you're away from your junk food, like your ice cream, your ding dongs, especially your fast food, the longer you go without it, you realize the more disgusting it becomes. Like, for instance, like I haven't eaten fast food in years, and like every time I go into places like, or if I rare case, I should say rare case, I'm in like places like Subway, Dunkin', McDonald's, Burger King, all these fast food places, the food just smells disgusting and everything. So you'll realize like once like you get everything in check, you're not necessarily going to want that stuff and everything. So it gets back to like treating yourself properly. So like you want to sit there and like with the whole 7 pillars, that's designed that way, so that way you can treat yourself in a sense like a royalty, like a king or a queen or whatever. Because like if you're doing the elimination diet with food, you're going to like food and drink and everything, you're going to get to the point where you're going to find like what makes you feel like amazing, and then like you might cut out soda, and then like 3 months later you grab one, you know what, I'm going to try it just to see how I feel, and like you drink it and like instantly you feel like you go down and just like kind of sit in your stomach like bad, just sits there like doesn't feel good and everything. Is like, oh yeah, this is why I don't go this is why I cut out soda. And like it's the same thing like with the eating like a bunch of like ding dongs or ho hos or like or whatever. You want to like if you reach for that and like yeah, and then you end up starting to feel sluggish afterwards, like, oh yeah, okay, this is why I cut this stuff out and everything. So now it's kind of hard to get those habits and in place and everything, but like once you do and you realize, like you look at it like you're in a sense like treating yourself like royalty instead of a garbage can, and that's why you want to do these the 7 pillars, so that way you can become a community of one, so you can basically set the example for other people. Now, there's no guarantee that you're going to sit there and be able to change other people like by changing yourself, because like you're going to get blowback from people, because a lot of people are going to see you starting to improve yourself, and instead of using you as an inspiration, they're going to try and bring you back down to their level, and like oh, so and so's improving, like I don't want them I don't want them to improve themselves, because that means I have to start improving myself and everything, and that's just too much work. So I'm going to sit there and try and like make snide remarks, and or like try and bring them down or self-sabotage them and everything. So you're going to get blowback by like improving yourself. So you kind of have to be able to cut those people out of your life. And like a lot of times people want to hold on to relationships, like, well, I've known so and so since high school and we've always been doing this and everything. It's like, look, if like you're I'll use the happy hour analogy again. Like if you're hanging out with someone that you've known since high school, and you always go to happy hour, and you have like 3 or 4 drinks, and you're ended up getting like DoorDash for like Domino's, and you end up feeling like shit on Saturday morning. Well, it's like you kind of have to cut them out, so that way you can start feeling better about yourself. So like I'll reiterate, like, instead of going out to happy hour with them, go to the fucking gym instead, and like you're going to meet better people. And not only that, you're going to find that you're going to feel better about yourself, because hey, look, I just did something positive for myself, instead of going out and eating and drinking like I'm a garbage can. So it's going to have like reinforce that the positive attitude that you're going to have towards yourself, so that way you can have that positive attitude towards others. So this is why you want to, in a sense, be selfish in order to be selfless towards other people, so you can sit there and help other people. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate that you're not necessarily going to be able to change people, because you will get that blowback that I mentioned, and because like a lot of people don't necessarily want to change. Like for the longest time, I know like I didn't want to change when I was drinking and everything, because like, oh hey, I'm completely fine, I'm doing good, I got like I'm living in an apartment, I got a job, I can pay my bills, and like oh hey, I still have enough money left over to get booze to get drunk and everything. And deep down I was like pretty much like felt like a worthless piece of shit and everything. But once I quit drinking and I started taking care of myself, the difference is drastic and everything. So like I lost a shit ton of weight. I feel so much better, and I can look back and my life has improved tenfold. So I'm going to use the 5-year analogy. So like 5 years from now, when you're looking back, you're going to be like, oh man, I wish I had fucking started back then, because you're going to be in a lot worse position than you were if you don't start. So like the 5 years are going to pass anyway. So like when you're looking at it, it's like, I need to do this, so that way I can be the best version of myself, so I can be a community of one, even though I might be surrounded by a bunch of toxic people that are pretty much negative, the negative Nancy type of deal. So now I can sit there and be the positive example for other people. Now, whether they take that as inspiration or not, that's completely on them. You got to focus on yourself to be a community one. Because like to end this, I'll reiterate: go up to the mirror every time you eat a ding dong, every time you grab for that pint of Ben Jerry's ice cream, every time you want to go out to like fast food, every time you want to skip the going to the gym. Now, it doesn't going to the gym doesn't necessarily have to be like a brutal like a workout. It could just be a simple like a yoga workout to recover. If you don't, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not drinking right, if drinking water and like drinking right in the sense of water instead of booze, or like your sugary sports drinks and stuff like that, or if you're not taking care of your mental health and everything, remember, go up to the mirror every time you're not doing something like that, and give yourself the middle finger and tell you that you're a worthless piece of shit, because that's basically what you're doing when you're not taking care of yourself. So this is like why like you, at the core of community, you want to be a community of one with yourself, so that way you can start attracting the right people and get rid of the wrong people. So that's why the community is one of community of one is an important pillar stone of the first pillar, which is of course community. So this is why you want to, in a sense, be selfish with your time, and instead of going to the happy hour, going to the gym, you want to be selfish with your attention, and like focusing on how do I get better, so that way I can in a sense turn around and show people how they can get better as well. So that's why you want to, at first and foremost, when it comes to community, you want to be a community of one with yourself